Welcome to Builder Buzz by Home Nation, where we bring in builders, developers, and everyday investors to talk about one of America's biggest opportunities, affordable housing. We'll talk about real costs, explosive growth, big mistakes, and tough lessons you won't learn anywhere else. Whether you're building homes, buying land, or just building big ideas, this podcast is for you.
Hello, everybody. My guest today is Anthony, the founder and CEO of Luxar Homes. They're a custom home builder in Central Florida, specifically Lake County. One thing that he says, which I think is so good, my reputation is only as good as the last home that I built. And that's just exactly what you want with a custom home builder, because they're so specific down to every detail, every inch, quite literally on that floor plan, every color in your kitchen, your walls, your bathrooms, all of that. So reputation is very important to Anthony, and you can just hear that come through in the way that he talks. He values what he does. He takes pride in his work, and he cares for the customer. So if you're looking for a custom home builder in the Central Florida area, or if you just want to hear what a custom home builder should sound like because you're interested in getting a custom home done, listen to this podcast. You're going to learn some things.
My company is Luxar Homes. My name is Anthony Yameen. I'm a residential contractor, and I run the business with my wife, Laura. We started this about 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
We kind of come from a family of small business owners. My dad ran a printing press, his own business in New York. When we moved to Florida, in the later years of my mom's life, she ran a seamstress business here in Claremont, in downtown Claremont, actually. And Laura, her dad has been in construction for 40 years and has ran his own business for the past 25 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so they kind of led the pathway on what both of us are on now. And their biggest focus was pleasing the customer. And I think that's a big takeaway for us and what has helped make us successful.
Yeah, I like that, especially custom homes. You have a very specific customer. They know what they want, and you aligning with that is really important.
A big thing we always tell clients, and we kind of joke about it, but it's true. Like, by the end of this, we're probably going to be family because we're going to be talking to each other like almost every day.
Yeah,
a couple times a week. When that goes away, it's almost like he's not calling me today. What's going on?
Yeah, where'd you go, Anthony? Hey, I missed your call. That's funny, man. That's too true. So my brother, he does modular homes up north, and he does the whole project. It's a little different than a custom home. Though you can get pretty custom with them, that's for sure. So he kind of gets a whole range of customers. But he had a closing one time, and he had a good relationship with the customer. And the closing agent was super surprised that they had a good standing relationship. And she was like, most of the time when a builder closes here with the homeowner, like, they don't have a good relationship because there's so many ways that things can go wrong with building a home. And only a couple ways that can go right. And so by the time it gets finished, like, sometimes they're at odds, but he wasn't. And so the closing agent was surprised.
Yeah, it is, because you're kind of forced into a relationship and you're learning each other as you go.
Yeah. That's too funny.
You do pick each other out in the beginning, obviously. But you don't know each other's, personalities until you really get into it.
That's too funny. But so you didn't start with custom homes, though. Well, you were mentioning before, jumped on, you were doing spec homes to start.
Correct. So my father-in-law pushing us like, hey, Ocala seems like a really good opportunity. Look into it. And he harped on us for about a year before we took his advice and started driving out there, doing some research, finding out about the community, what was happening in that area, until we finally decided to take the plunge, buy 4 lots, and build on 3 of those lots. So we started with 3 homes, the same house, a spec home, built it on 3 different lots. They were scattered across the Ocala area. And one thing we learned very quickly was we probably should have started with 1 and not 3.
Yeah,
Because
it's a lot.
the first mistake that was made 3 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
Yes. The cost of time and money was times 3. So what we did, we decided to, once we made that first initial big mistake, we decided to stagger them. So we stopped construction on 2 of them and delayed each one by 3 weeks, and helped us save money when we worked out all the kinks on the first one.
That's really good. Yeah. What was that? A building mistake? Was it a zoning mistake? What in particular?
There were some blueprint mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously when you submit to, the building department, they review everything to make sure everything looked good. But at the time, there was a lot of things that were overlooked. And obviously we didn't catch them either. And we were starting off and we didn't know to look for all these things. Obviously we know now. Okay. We learned on our dime and we don't make that mistake now.
So what in particular, was it like, hey, this is a half bath and it needs to be a full bath? Or was it like, hey, we don't have...
The rear, we do block construction, but on those first 3 houses, the rear wall where the slider was going, it was kind of an interior wall because the roof extended past onto the patio, and that rear wall wasn't lining up with the trusses that were engineered. So where the trusses are supposed to meet that wall, it didn't meet. And we couldn't just cut trusses because then you're messing up the engineering. Yeah. It was very expensive to have that.
Oh, man. You made that mistake 3 times. Like, okay, pause.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, and you did this with your wife?
Yeah. Yeah.
So was it you or you? Like, who took ownership for that mistake?
Who took blame?
That's tough to build with your wife, man.
Yeah, we actually didn't point fingers on that one. We were just trying to figure out how to make this work.
That's awesome, man.
How do we fix this? We reached out to the engineering company that did the trusses, reached back to the architect, reached back out to the other engineer, and just worked with everyone and the county to get it right at a minimal cost.
That's so good, man. I love that. No, that's fantastic. Building a house is it's stressful. That can put a lot of stress on your relationship. And I'm sure you've noticed that even with your customers. Like, it's just a stressful thing. There is a irreducible complexity to it where it's like, hey, we have made this as simple as we can. There is a component of stress that you're just going to experience with building a house. Like, you can't avoid that.
Yeah, it can't be avoided. Correct. Yeah. So we experienced that with building our home. Yeah. So our first project ever was building our personal home.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, you learned on your own dime, which is great news for anyone interested in a custom home now. It's like, well, they figured it out. So but you have custom homes. So that would seem to me you have custom floor plans that you have to have engineered and what have you. Do you have any standard floor plans? How do you build?
We do. For our spec homes, we do have standard floor plans. We don't so much advertise it as much because we truly want to make the experience unique. So, when we built our personal home, we didn't have kids yet. We didn't have a family yet. So we really sat down with a piece of paper and, what do we want here? And just build it and put it all together. So we like having that experience with our clients too. Just, my wife will just bring a piece of paper and draw a box and where do you want your kitchen? Where do you want this? And obviously we can add dimension and alter it later, but it really helps make it unique to each person and their lifestyle.
Now, at what point does it become too much where the customer's like, well, I guess it kind of depends on how interested your customer is in being involved. Like for me, I'm a bigger picture. I don't want the details. Don't ask me where I want my kitchen. I don't know. I just want a kitchen. Just put it in there. I want a, 1,800 square foot house, build it. I don't care. But other people no, I want it this way and I want it that way and da-da-da. So sometimes you can overwhelm customers with options, kind of like if you go to Netflix, what do I watch? I don't know. There's 1,000 different videos. How can I not find out what to watch? Well, it's overwhelming. So how do you handle that?
So one of our first conversations, we do that. How involved do you want to be in the process?
It's good.
And determining that do you want to pick out your wall color? Do you know what kind of finish you want your cabinets to be. Just asking little questions like the floor, do you want laminate, do you want tile? And we kind of determined, like, because some people may not know what being very involved means, but we ask those questions and we get a good pulse check on how involved they want to be.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's really helpful. Then you can give them the best experience because it's the experience they want.
Yeah, that can change too. We've had clients to where, hey, I want to be involved. I want to learn the process. I really want to be hands-on. And then halfway through, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. You just take over and finish it.
Yeah, maybe a little over-ambitious. Like, you know what? I'm done. You please take this off.
Yeah.
That's
and we don't mind doing that either.
Yeah. So you were going through. You learned some on your spec homes, right? You had those 3 you're doing at the same time, 4 lots, starting to build on 3. Then you spaced them out a little bit so that you could maybe make the mistake once instead of 3 times. Pick up there and just tell me, you finished those lots and sold them and then started doing custom homes. How did that develop?
So we kept building in Ocala for a while. What happened was there was a lot of builders. There was a lot of competition that was created in that area. So a lot of builders were coming in doing the same thing. One time we were purchasing lots, for maybe $7,000 to $10,000 a lot. The lots began to cost $25,000 up to $50,000.
Oh wow!
And there just wasn't much of a profit there anymore.
Yeah,
it was hard to provide a quality home and be competitive because our prices now were above what you could buy a home over there for.
Yeah,
and our sold our homes was the quality. But it took a while to sell them. They were sitting on the market longer.
Yeah.
And because it was our own money and we're having money sit out that long, it became difficult to just make that the only thing we do in business.
Yeah. Why did you switch to custom homes instead of maybe a more affordable home or just something entirely different? Some other, commercial buildings or something else?
Well, like I'm a residential contractor, so I don't have a license to do commercial, but we get to show our quality through the custom route. So if we did affordable housing, we would have to cut some things that we really like to do.
Yeah. Okay.
To be able to make a profit. So in the custom route, we're allowed to showcase those things. We had a big growing pain for us was finding the right people to do what we wanted. So finding the right suppliers.
I get that for
finding the right subcontractors. So it was a slow growth through those 3 homes as well. Finding people that really knew what we wanted in a home, the quality that we wanted.
Yes. Finding those contractors that aligned.
And people that like their craft, people that really enjoyed what they do. Because sometimes when it's just a job, eventually it starts to show on the home when it becomes that. So our subcontractors, they're definitely not the cheapest subcontractors, but they do really good work, and that's why we've built a really good relationship with them. Yeah.
So you have consistently the same contractors that you're using. Well, would there ever be? Oh, I guess not really. There would never be a direction for you where you say, we're going to do this. This is the type of floor plan we're going to do, and you can do these customizations, but you can't do these. But you have to stick with this floor plan layout in such and such particular way. Would that ever make sense?
Yeah. So I think that it comes down to budget. So if we'll ask them to go to Pinterest, make a Pinterest board and add us to it so we can see all your ideas and what you're thinking and what your style is. And then we'll come together, we'll have a meeting about it, and then discuss your ideas, what costs associated with those ideas, and then they can make a decision based on that, what's more important to them. Make a compromise between both.
So then how do you get customers? Because you start doing custom homes. There are a lot of builders. There's a lot of competition, people doing that stuff. I'm sure there are also a lot of custom home builders. So then how did you get those customers to give you a call to say, we want to use Luxar Homes versus someone else? It seems to me like my understanding of the custom home industry is it's very word of mouth. There's not a lot of, there are people advertising for it and what have you, but it's like, we know these guys do really good quality and they let you customize to a degree that these other guys don't. How did that work starting out?
It was very word of mouth. We realized very quickly in the custom home industry that home builders aren't really trusted. They're not just going to call you and go with you with this big of a project.
That's for sure.
So it really comes from word of mouth. So a lot of the homes that we built in Ocala, because of our quality out there, some referrals came from those homeowners that bought those houses, those spec homes. Real estate agents in that area were referring to us. Real estate agents that we use now that are primarily in Claremont that were selling some of our homes in Ocala, they refer a lot to us as well.
Oh, wow. So it's mostly the referral business.
Yeah. We do advertise, but it's harder to get a client that way. I think it means a lot when it's referred by
Oh, yeah. Your closing rate on a referral is just, you cannot compare it to someone who comes in via an ad. Yeah.
Because then you're constantly jumping through hoops, I think, because they're also a bit taken back. Can I trust this person? Yeah. Can I spend this much money with them?
Yeah. No, that's for sure. That'd be difficult. So then how did you learn some things in your own jobs? Then you start taking on customers' jobs. What did you learn as you started to do that? I would imagine some of it would be how to deal with the customers, how to present to them the right way. Like, oh, they maybe don't want to be involved this much, or they think they know what they want, but they actually don't until they get into it and realize, oh, no, I don't want it that way. Did you find yourself having to tell the customers more what they need to get, or sitting back and letting them decide more because home customers really know what they want?
So our Tatiana, which is our manager, and she deals a lot more hands-on with the customer that way. She's really good at asking questions and finding out what they really want. So once we get to that point and we're already, let's say we're halfway through the build or something like that, and things start to change, she's really good at finding out what the customer really wants at that point. So if there is frustration, she'll ask questions to find out what we need to do, what can we do to help, because that's what we're here for, and how we can alleviate some of that stress.
Yeah, that's good.
So because once we get to that point, I'm more on site making sure everything's built correctly, and then Laura and Tatiana are doing more of the hands-on with the client.
Okay, so how many jobs would you, at any given point, custom jobs are a big deal. Even just running one job is a lot. How many would you have at any given point?
It would depend on the size of the project. So the size of the home. Yeah. So if we're doing like, an ADU, we can take on several of those at a time. But say we're doing like a project that's 8,000 square feet, these custom stairwells and a safe room and all these different things, so we probably only do 3 of those at a time.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So in a year period, how many homes would you typically have? Do you have an average that you've seen between the more complex and the simple?
Between complex and simple, let's say full bills, probably 5 homes on average. And then in between, we'll pick up ADUs or renovation, because those are a lot more simple. So we can pick those up and finish them pretty quickly and not really have to affect our new construction. Yeah.
So you are working with these contractors. You have the same contractors that you're using. You got the framer, you got the floor guy, the electrician, the HVAC, and you're working in a particular region, right? You're not all the way from the Panhandle to Miami. So
Correct.
would it ever make sense for you to get your own license in those other trades, get your own framing crew, get your own concrete guys? Would there ever be a time for that?
It's possible, but I don't know if I would do that. It's a lot more to manage, and if I already have a crew that I trust that will do a good job, then it's less I have to check up on if I'm running multiple homes at a time. Like, because I'm thinking now, if I'm understanding correctly, let's say I'm building 15 homes at a time, and now I have to manage my own framing crew. And then have to worry about like, oh, well, 5 people called out today because yesterday was a holiday. Now I have to manage that and still make sure the quality of the home is done correctly. Something is going to have to give.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you don't want to have that level of management. So then where do you see Luxar Homes in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Obviously, I want to see us bigger and keep growing. I don't see myself managing those crews more than I manage them now.
Okay.
Yeah. We really do like the crews that we work with. And a lot of them, some of them have came from when we built our house, our first project. We still use the same plumber that did our house then, does all of our houses now. We haven't moved from him. A lot of other trades have changed because we've learned different things and how we want our homes to be built. But that's just one example of how we've used him. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, man. So growing consistency. You have a pretty well oiled process right now. It sounds like to build the custom home that doesn't sacrifice on quality, where you can give and take with the customer on, hey, we can handle a lot of these decisions, or you can be super involved if you want to. It just depends on what you want and what your budget accommodates for. So you've got all of that figured out. It's just a matter of, we want to do more of it. That's how we want to grow. Yeah,
and I feel like we're still growing because we want to be bigger. And I think that comes with consistency, just being consistent, making sure our homes are built to the quality we want them to, because I think that speaks to our reputation. And with us being community focused and really trying to develop a name for ourselves in this area, I think that's the best way to do it.
So here, coming in closing, tell me the area that you work in, and then if that's going to grow in the coming months or years.
So South Lake County is where we're primarily based. So that includes where I live in Claremont, Groveland, Mascot, surrounding areas to that. Orange County, we've done a few things there as well, and we're thinking about maybe expanding into Tampa area, because I know that's a big area that's growing, and it's not too far from us where I can still manage those projects.
Yeah, you could. So if a customer was interested in a price range for, let's say, a 1,500 square foot home, would you be able to give a price of, you probably could end up between here and here based on the builds you've done? We
could, yes. We like to emphasize the land plays a big factor into where you're going to build your home. So with Florida, we just have so many different types of elevation. Where I live in Claremont, it's very hilly. Like you can build on a hill, where maybe 5 miles down the road you can be in the swamp and wetland, and you have to stay a certain amount of you have to stay a certain amount of feet away from wetland, and it really can determine cost of things can change drastically.
What are some costs that you've seen?
So one house we built here in Claremont, the clients wanted to build. They purchased a lot with the pretty drastic elevation change. They wanted to build on the hill. Typically, we could do a 2-story. On those, the most functional thing to do, or economical, I would say, to build into the hill. Build kind of 2-story with the top floor as a walkout. They didn't want a bottom floor, so they wanted just a ranch-style home. It took almost $100,000 just to get to slab. Wow.
Yeah, because that's kind of a strange.
The stem wall, all the dirt we had to bring in. I think one side of that stem wall was about 12 feet tall.
Wow, they really. I mean, I would want 2 stories. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, they didn't want it. Yeah.
Wow. Have you had any trouble? Have you had any trouble with wetland mitigation and that bringing costs up?
No, because we have looked at land, and we've helped our clients look at land before they make purchases and kind of navigate them away from those things.
Yeah. So just because the headache that it's going to cause.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of tell them. Like, if you haven't made a purchase of land yet, just bring to us lots that you're looking at. We'll do some quick research on it and let you know, like, hey, you could do this, but this might be the extra cost associated with building on this property.
Yeah, it's good. So you have a lot of experience in that. You can help. Because customers, I'm telling you, it's nothing against them. They don't know. In a lot of cases, they have no idea. We've had customers approach us. Yeah, I got a property. I want to put a mobile home on it. And they don't know about zoning. And they're in the middle of a development. And I said, you've got homes next to you. I mean, site-built homes next to you. Custom homes next to you. You're not going to be able to put a mobile home there. As much as I'd love to, we tell them no. We do see that. Or, some of the worst ones, they'll come to us and they don't realize they have wetlands on their property until they start trying to get the permit for the home that they want. Whether or not, maybe sometimes they bought it, maybe they haven't yet. Because then they go apply for that permit and they realize they have wetlands on the property. And then they realize that property is basically not worth anything. Those are bad. That's unfortunate when that happens. So you just got to be aware purchasing property in Florida. You just need to know what you're getting into.
Correct. And we learned that in Ocala because where we were building that, a lot of some of those properties and before we even call the county, we would just look at, okay, who bought this property and can we figure out why they're selling it? If it's someone that bought it 20 years ago and now they're selling it, it makes sense. But if it's changed hands 3 times in the past year, then maybe there's something going on with it.
Those are red flags.
Yeah, and then you look it up and the setbacks are really bad. There's probably wetland and you don't have much area to build on it.
Tell us, for those that are listening, what are some red flags or some things to look out for when you're purchasing a property in Florida?
So a few things that we look for or we'll call about is setbacks. So figuring out what the setbacks are, especially on a corner lot, people tend to sell those for more, but the setbacks are usually worse. So it's
more restrictive.
It's really, paying attention to that, especially on a corner lot. They might look attractive. They might not always be the best decision.
We've seen that before where it's like you can't, or what will happen sometimes is you might have the original, the subdivision was platted out to be all a certain size, like say a 1/4 acre. And then someone decided they wanted to split their lot up after they built the home because, and then they, 1/8 of an acre, they split their lot in half or something like that. And they try to sell that 1/8 of an acre, but the zoning requirements are that you have to have a 1/4 acre lot in order to put a home on there. So we've seen some things happen like that. It's not too often, but it does happen. I actually know a couple lots that are for sale right now for mobile homes, and I looked them up, and I'm like, I don't think, because they're pretty small lots. I'm like, I don't think you can build on those. And then it was a situation like that where someone parceled off part of their property, and then they want to sell it, and it's like, hey, you can't do that because the original restrictions on that property per zoning are that it has to be a certain size.
Yeah, and then those restrictions change. So with a lot that small, maybe when it was subdivided, you could do it. And now restrictions in that county are instead of 10 feet setbacks, you might have 25. And now that lot is completely useless. No,
exactly. So, and stuff like that happens because there's so many moving parts. One department can't check with the other department, can't check with the landowners to make sure everything, you just have to know. You just have to know. You have to be familiar. You have to be hands-on, involved in that local community to have such a good feel, like your thumb on it to know exactly what's going on.
And sometimes that just takes not picking up the phone, but just driving down there and just walking in, talking to each department.
Literally. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it literally takes that level of involvement to say, all right, that's it. I'm just going to go down there and talk to someone, figure it out.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Anthony. Well, thank you so much for taking time. That's really good
No
to
problem.
hear, because that sort of hands-on approach, that sort of attention to detail is so needed, specifically, especially with custom homes. Like a customer just needs to know that their builder knows what they're doing and is going to go to bat for them and figure things out and have the foresight to see, hey, let's look out for this. Let's pay attention to these setbacks here, or hey, that property might have wetlands, don't purchase that. Like, that's really great to know with your builder. You just need to have confidence in them. Like you were saying earlier, customers, they want to know they can trust you. Hey, who are you? Are you a good builder? Am I just a paycheck for you? Are you going to take care of me? And it sounds like you take care of your customers and pay attention to their needs.
Yes, we do. We try to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So anyone that's listening, Luxar Homes in the Lake County area and potentially in the future toward Tampa, if you're looking for a custom home, reach out to Anthony. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way is probably our website. So www.luxarhomes.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, but all those links are on our website as well, and our phone number is there as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. Appreciate your time today.
All right. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Bye.